Hi, this is Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Wednesday, April the 4th, and this will serve as our chart lesson for today. And just to give you a broad look at the big picture, this is similar to what we had a couple of days ago. We had this spike down, and then we went into this channel, so this is what I would describe as a spiking channel type day. And if you didn't find this channel, you probably had a little bit of trouble finding these, finding some of these entries. However, the way I got the channel was I got it off this low side. I found a trend here first, and I tried to get it up here. But once this 830 stuff finished, you should have at least been able to get it off of that, and that would have given you an idea. And then you could have, if you drag that down, all you can see that's just a copy. If you drag it down, you can see it fits price as well. So I believe that was the channel for today. There was also a trend line really off the double top here as well, and that's a new, it's really the second leg down. What we have is we have our first leg down, wrong line there, sorry. You got your first leg down right here, and then you copy that over and bring it over, and then that was your second leg. We didn't quite make it, depending on how you measured this leg. If you measured it to right here, I think it's probably going to be real close, and we still didn't quite make it. But once we had this double bottom in place and we had a trend line break, we had a trend line break of this one and this one, and then a new low, and that pretty much reversed it, at least for a short period of the rest of the afternoon anyway. So but that's how I got what I saw. It was a little difficult to see right out of the gate, to be honest with you. Even it took me a little bit of time to figure this out. I didn't, normally you can have your channel and pretty much see it, or your trend line, before the regular open, and you really couldn't hardly find this until after this swing created right in here, this double top, and that happened at the regular open at 8:30 Central Time, my time, and we didn't come back to that for a long time. So, but you could also get these first couple of swings here, and you would have gotten this entry, but you should have been able to, by the time we got late in the morning here, if you'd drawn your line here, or if you'd even drawn it down here, you would have been able to find this move right here. So anyway, let's go look at the trades now, and then we'll wrap this up. I'm a little short of time today, and I'm getting this done a little bit late, so I'm going to try to move through it a little quicker than normal. But regardless of what you had this morning, we really had been in a trading range all the way across here for most of the overnight, other than the spike down. We were still kind of trending down here. You can see we're making lower highs across here. We're not really making lower lows, but we're making lower highs. But this double top created right at the open this morning and gave you a nice second entry short when prices have been trending down. And if you got short right there, that was an easy scalp. You probably didn't get any runners off this one, because you see prices bounce, and they would have got your break-even stops on any runners if you were holding runners. But you got another chance to enter right here on a breakout pullback short. We broke out, we pulled back, and immediately reversed. That's a nice reversal bar. So if you saw that, that was a good entry as well. And again, it's doubtful your stops survived, or I'm sorry, not your stops, but your break-even stops survived. You probably only got a scalp out of that one as well. But each one of these, this is just another breakout pullback short right here. I didn't mark it because we're moving down, and we hadn't really had any pullback that's made it back to the EMAR. This, what I was looking at, is probably the trend line at that point, was this line. And this was the first time we really got a good pullback to the EMA, or the trend line, and you had this nice reversal bar off that trend line. So there was your next entry. And this time I believe your runners would have survived, and you could have got a couple of points out of them. But when we hit this line down here again, that's where I would have been looking for a reversal. And we had this set up right here, and it's possible you could have gotten trapped right here, but having just come after an overshoot of this trend channel line, that's a good reason not to go short right there if you did. If you went short right here, that's okay. I didn't mark it, but but there was a short right here, and it would have worked. You would have gotten another scalp, and I don't know why I didn't mark that one. I meant to. I think I just missed that one, but that was a good trade too, because it's a second entry short, and that's the first real break of this trend line right here that obviously had had 2-3 touches right here that had held. This was the first break above it, so that was a second entry short. So if you took that short, that was a good trade too. It was only good for a scalp, but all the same, it was a good trade, because it is a two-legged pullback to the EMA. And then if you notice, this is a full two-legged pullback all the way to the trend line, so this was a good setup. I'll just show you this. There's your first leg, and then you move it over here, and then there's your second leg basically, and then there's a two-legged correction right there in the middle as well. And this is just kind of a congestion trading range area, and we also had these highs across here. So even if you didn't have that trend line, you still should see this breakout right here, which was a failure that broke out of here. So that was a failed breakout. Okay to go short there, and then you definitely should have seen this double top across here, which if you bring this all the way across, well, for some reason it doesn't go that way. But anyway, if you bring that all the way across, you can see that was just a strong resistance area there, and we hit it twice, and both times you could have entered. And this was a nice move off here, and I believe your runners survived here and were worth several points. But that should have been your trend line break by that point, and a couple legs down to a new low. So when we came back out of here and then pulled back and tested this trend line right in here, and you can see we pretty much tested that and then reversed, and this is a second entry long after a nice bullish leg. So I was looking for a measured leg up right here, and if you measure that leg, there it is, and then you measure the second leg, there it is, and that's exactly where price is reversed. Only got a pullback, but the trend is up now, and at least we got two legs up, and you can see all this is a breakout pullback to test the breakout area right across here, and it's two legs. There's one leg back, a move up, and then this was another leg back, and then another move up, and then they came back and tested this line one more time, and it closed on its high. So we tested this low 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and it held every time. And then so if you entered there, it was a nice, that's really a second entry long, and it was an easy scalp. That's all you would have gotten out of it, but it was a nice easy scalp there. So, and by the time we got that done, it was getting late in the day, and this is just too much overlap here, and by the time anything happened, it was well after almost 3 o'clock, well after our entry time. So that was pretty much it for the day. Even if you didn't see these two trades, and even if you didn't have those trend lines on there, hopefully you can see this trading range right here with this double bottom, and you could have gone long off this double bottom, but it was a little suspect at that point. You can see it would have been a great trade. It's just a failed break lower, so I could have marked that one, but I didn't, because it's just a big broad double bottom, and we were in this trading range right here. But here where the trend had been down, so we were mostly looking for shorts. So hopefully, you see these two failed breaks above the resistance area right here that just gave us another short both times. And this one was actually a pretty good one because it came all the way back down and tested this low again. So hopefully you can see that. Even if you didn't have your trend lines, you should have been able to see some of these trades, and you could have maybe even seen this. It was really risky entering anywhere in there once you got over this overlap, even to the long side. But once you failed to go lower there again, you got a new high. First entry short, pull back a second entry short. So it's a failed second entry short that reversed into, it's really, you could call that on a bigger picture, that would be a second entry long. It's kind of hard to see though, and it would have been risky entering out of this stuff here, but we were looking for a second leg equal to this leg, and again I'll show you that one more time. You see that leg right there, And if you measure it and bring it over, you got your other one right there. So it is a two-legged move with a two-legged correction in the middle. But enter and out of that congestion, it's not a great trade, so that's why I didn't mark it. But hopefully you could see these two based on the resistance across here. If you saw this one, that was okay too. And then if you saw your trend lines, even if you didn't have your trend lines, with this bullish move off this double bottom, you would expect a second leg, or at least an attempt to try to come back and test this. And you can see we did stall a little bit there for a minute before it broke on higher. So if you entered right here, this was a good trade, and that would have set your trend line for these next trade. And again, by the time you got here, it was fairly late in the day, but you're starting to get a lot of overlap again. And I don't believe that trade would have worked. I don't think there's enough room there to scalp out before you get back to this high. So that just wasn't a very good setup either. Not when we'd been in a downtrend most of the time, and not especially since this was kind of a trading range area, which really started around 9:30 this morning, and it lasted until we had this breakout pullback long right here at 1:45 this afternoon, almost 2 o'clock. So that's the majority of the day we spent in this trading range right here. So, but I'm going to call it a day and wrap it up. Hopefully you had a good trading day, and we'll do this again tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.